Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your third and final best of three of the evening. By the time we're done today, one team will have punched their ticket to Seattle. Now, of course, it's one thing to go there as a wildcard team, another thing entirely to go there as one of the 16 teams that will be competing in the International 3 main event. Speaking of which, we've almost hit $2.2, I believe, million for the compendium, so keep on buying them, keep on supporting Valve. I think we're only about $1,000 away. Give this guy some extra money if he does well there. But on that note, I'm LD, he's AUI 2000, and we are going to cast LGD Gaming versus Vici Gaming. This one should really be a treat.
Yeah, I think this is possibly the highest level match that we're going to get out of any of the qualifiers.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe we see these two teams meet again in your grand finals. That's going to determine who's first and who's second. Winner bracket champions, that basically ensures that you go to the playoffs, or to that grand final. So no matter what, you win this best of three, you're going to Seattle. But it's one thing, again, to go there as a wildcard team. You have to play DD to actually make it into the main event. Another thing entirely, if you go there as a team that you know months in advance, you'll be playing at the main event.
And I just love how Kunkka is becoming this like first-round pick thing now. He's
so entertaining to watch.
And both teams play him so well. I actually love watching Kunkka. All his spells, he's like any hero with. I count Tidebringer as active because you can sort of position yourself to use it.
It's a very strategic passive.
Yeah. So he basically has 4 relatively low cooldown actives, in my opinion.
Well, we won't see the CTY Kunkka. It looks like it's going to be the Xiao 8 or the Yao Kunkka with the Darkseer pickup, probably leaning towards Xiao 8, probably going to go mid. And we'll see the CTY Clockwork most likely. That's been a fun one to watch, to say the least. How do you feel about that Kunkka versus Clockwork matchup? We saw kills going both way last game. I think you and Gods agreed that wasn't really the smoothest play for most players, but if they both play really well, does anyone have a clear advantage there?
I think Clockwork has the advantage just because Cogs, you can sort of like cog in the creep, hit him with it, and deny the creep. It's quite easy to do that because Kunkka sort of has to go for last hits in mid. Even if you're bottom crowing, you can sort of out-regen the Kunkka.
And if you ever get into a man fight, Battery Assault's going to really screw
Battery
the
Assault
Kunkka.
It's very hard to cast Torrent against Battery Assault, actually. So even though Kunkka is sort of good versus Clockwork throughout the game, because he hooks in, he cogs, and you have a very easy bolt and Torrent combo, because not only the Clockwork will be there, but his allies sort of group around her to help him.
Right.
But
this is all theoretical, of course.
It's all
I mean, we look at LGD, they've been going for the Spectre a lot. We saw Vici Gaming, they go for it as well. It's in the pool. There's no Lone Druid for Sylar. Gyrocopter picked up by Vici Gaming. They had their shot at the Spectre. They said, no, we're not going to take him this game. We'll leave it in the pool for LGD. We've seen a lot of Spectre recently. I know you have you like to see a more active, involved Spectre going for things like the drums, the Yasha, the early combat items. Well, we won't see him. Just passed up. They'll go instead for Nyx.
I mean, he might get through the ban stage, but considering how popular he is with both teams, we will probably see a ban on him.
And so if he gets banned out, I mean, what's next on your list for LGD? Sure, they've got the Kunkka, but they never run this as a one position. They always pick a secondary source of damage if they go Kunkka.
I really like the Luna for them, just because I like teams having a bit of push.
And Sylar, that's one of his signature heroes.
I really like Sylar's Luna too. I think
it's one of his best heroes.
I'm like debating whether I think Zoe from IG or Sylar plays it better. And it's really a toss-up for me. I think those two are going to be playing that hero the best.
I mean, Sylar certainly has been the flashier player. We saw his fantastic micro, giving Admiral Bulldog even a run for his money in terms of who made the most spectacular Lone Druid micro plays in the lane. He got ganked repeatedly, lived through it all. He certainly put on a show. Phantom Lancer, another carry we've seen occasionally, not really a top pick for either of these teams. It gets the ban here from Vici Gaming. They have Gyro, they have a hero that can somewhat deal with it late, but they just say, we don't want that nuisance of a hero. We don't want to clock hang over our heads. We're going to remove him right now.
And it would be really hard to deal with a PL late game just because you have the Bolt, you have the Darkseer. You're probably not bringing him down unless somehow you isolate him with Shadow Demon and you get 8 illusion spawn.
And there's also Keeper of the Light in the pool, so, I mean, you don't ban the PL, then...
I think it's a smart ban because Kodo is looking very good for LGD right now. They have the Nyx, so you sort of want to make up for a little bit of his weakness in lane if he's going as a support.
Yeah.
And then Chakra is good on Darkseer Kunkka, Nyx. Like, well, Chakra's sort of good on everyone.
Yeah.
But it's especially good on heroes like Kunkka and Darkseer because, especially Kunkka, he sort of his spell costs aren't particularly high.
But all his spells are spammable.
Yeah, all his spells are spammable, and he sort of has a low mana pool.
Yeah.
So you're replenishing sort of more spells in one chakra than you would with someone like
exactly. And it lets you, maybe you skip the Arcane Boots on the Darkseer, you rush a mech, Nyx Assassin can just go straight for some phase boots or
I
something
would
like
really
that.
like to see that mech early on them, just because I feel like against carries like Spec and Gyro, you need that early mech
10
to just negate
seconds
their ulti. Otherwise, your team just gets low from the carry, and then you're
5
not in that good a
seconds
position to
remaining.
fight.
And speaking of Spectre, we'll see him banned out now by Vici Gaming. As for LGD, they'll get rid of actually the Rubik. I mean, something that we talked about in the pregame was the FY Rubik. Visage will slip through, immediately snapped up by Vici Gaming. Lots of long-range kind of sniping power for them. Soul Assumption long-range, Rockets are long-range, Homie Missile can chase you, Poison to Scout. This is a lineup that, if they have a decent start, can just pick heroes off before they even get in range. And you look at LGD, triple melee.
Yeah, and I really like Visage versus Darkseer and Nyx, just because none of their spells really hit the birds. Well, I guess you can Vendetta, but if they're Vendettaing a bird, then
You probably already
10
won anyway.
seconds remaining.
well, it's sort of nice, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you can kill bird. I mean, I saw in the
5
last
seconds
who was it?
remaining.
There's a Visage pick in the last series, right? Or was it the series before that?
I think it was game 2 of the
Okay.
last series.
Well,
I can't remember. I was
what-
dozing in and out.
One of them, there was a fight at the Roshan pit, and 3 heroes just targeted the Visage birds and killed them in the fight, because that's how good they are.
Yeah. Oh, well, there was also the game where, was it a Queen of Pain? Oh, Shao 8 on the Queen of Pain. Just he was so farmed, he just 2 auto attacks, the birds
Yeah.
are dead. So if you fall behind on Visage, then these birds
Yeah,
become food.
It can become hard. I mean, sometimes you can sort of bait with them too, and you can usually get your stuns off if you, like, once you're behind, you can't go for auto attacks on them, you sort of have to just drop them,
Yeah.
which is still decent. I mean, it's not
But they're
optimal.
wasting time.
Yeah.
Maybe you're wasting, I mean, even something like Flak Cannon where you're not in range of other
10
heroes, depending on the
seconds
situation.
remaining.
So it can really pay off. Well,
And
you're almost always in range for that, but
We do see the Kato come
5
out, which I really
seconds
like.
remaining.
You see the Visage, you need something like a Kato who can push out the lane so you can pull just in case they're aggressive, and Nyx, he's not that bad in lane with a Kato. Like, usually he's sort of a weaker support, but if he has mana to spam mana burn, and an Alchemist.
they'll go Alchemist here, which we've seen played a lot of different ways. Mouse Sports have run this as a support for Vici Gaming. You look and say, it's going to be ZSMJ, right? I mean, that's what we sort of expect. XTT can play the off-lane Clockwork if they want a defensive tri-lane. Obviously, CTY's taken that mid and been very successful. Gyro can be a solo, could be a component of the tri-lane. Alchemist can even solo mid.
I think
What do you think they're going to do?
this looks like an
10
Alchemist
seconds
aggressive
remaining.
with Visage Shadow Demon. Clockwork and Gyro can sort of be interchangeable
5
mid and bottom.
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
I'd rather see the Gyro bottom, but I think that if Darkseer plays it smart, he creeps gets posted to Ninja Camps, he actually beats both those heroes, not by killing them, but by sort of just out-farming them.
You kind of wear them down
Yeah.
over time. And for LGD, what are they going to go for here? They've got the Sylar Luna, but isn't really a good hero against an aggressive tri-lane. I feel like might just be food for Vici Gaming. Do they have any other options? Well, they'll go
they
Luna.
with the Luna. And
So-
I actually like the Luna pick.
Okay.
I really do feel that if you don't have any push after you win a team fight, it's just not enough. Because usually you don't win a team fight like 5-0.
Yeah.
You win a team fight 5-0, it doesn't really matter. But if you win a team fight like 3-2, and there's a full HP tower without any push, you don't get any real damage on the tower. And they're eating pizza.
They're making you hungry. We haven't been feeding poor AUI here. He's like
They-
actually starving.
They actually made me cook them breakfast a couple times, and then they just don't feed me after.
You've been cooking for us every day, and Gods responds, cooks himself a nice pizza, makes sure to take like 4 slices at once, just slap them all on the plate and go to town. Like he's like face deep in his plate right now.
He looks,
Can't even
he looks a
communicate.
bit too happy too.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that pizza. You probably don't want to be eating it anyway. So
I hope there's
we're
something
actually
wrong
doing
with
you.
10 seconds
That
remaining.
sounded wrong. Well, we'll see the Sylar Luna coming out. DDC
5
support
seconds
Nyx Assassin will be the
remaining.
Shao 8 Kunkka. And it looks kind of like a Kunkka tri-lane here, but we'll see what LGD do with their lanes. Quickly, I'll introduce the teams. On the side of LGD, you've got Directorate, Shao 8 on the Kunkka, Yao on the
Prepare
off-lane
for battle.
Darkseer, Sylar on the safe lane Luna, DDC support Nyx Assassin, DD on the Keeper of the Light. LGD, they also had a bumpy ride here. They were 2-1 in their match, but they do move forward. They got surprised and kind of blindsided by the Wisp pick in Game 1 versus Rising Stars. But they made it through. We have Vici Gaming on the opposing side. Fenrir on the Visage. CTY on the Clockwork. XTT on the Alchemist. ZSMJ. The legendary carry player has struggled a bit as of
Well,
late.
Alchemist is
Hobie
stunning
playing
himself.
the Gyrocopter, and XTT off to a slow start here. Self-stunning. Not really ideal. FY on the Shadow Demon. Smoke already picked up on him.
I mean, it's not too bad. They really wanted to farm aggressive in the jungle so he could get wards down. I think they had a much stronger level 1.
Right.
But after that stun, it's...
30
Actually, I still
seconds
feel
to
like they
battle.
could have penetrated the jungle, but it's sort of like, hey, your Alchemist just stunned himself.
Yeah, if you run into LGD's entire lineup right then, maybe you give up first blood.
I mean, Luna Aura is actually very strong. Normally I'd be like, oh, they only have a Nick stun and a torrent.
Right.
But it seems like CTY and Xiao 8, like torrent is a targetable spell that's AoE. It's like Stormbolt, so it's still scary in those level 1
Yeah, if you can hit 2-3 heroes with a torrent, you follow that up with Ion Shell damage, maybe a multiple hero impale. In theory, the level 1 of LGD is actually pretty ridiculous. So it'll be the Kunkka going mid for Xiao 8. He'll be matched up against CTY's Clockwork. You think Clockwork has an edge here? We're about to find out. CTY getting a decent creep block to start things off, but Xiao 8's maybe even looks a bit better towards the bottom lane. It'll be Gyrocopter for ZSMJ up against Yao on the Darkseer, checking to see if anyone's been pulled. It looks like not the case, so it'll be a fair man fight here. No unfair advantages, and then the tri-lane versus tri-lane. What do you make of our lane? I'll give you a chance to think about it if you need it.
I like the fact that the aggressive tri-lane to put pressure on the Luna. The Shadow Demon, I feel like he should be staying in lane to get level 2 because once you get Soul Catcher, someone just dies to Alchemist Stun, Soul Catcher Disruption, and Visage Soul Samson.
It's a pretty insane amount of burst.
I would actually even like pull the Visage back a bit so he doesn't get EXP. Maybe put him where the Shadow Demon is right now, because I think level 2 is more important on Shadow Demon than Visage.
I mean, it's like either you just blow someone up with the stun or they walk back to tower. I don't think the Grave Chill really makes a big difference. So mid lane, Sequoia will actually pull Xiao 8 in here, and he's kind of losing that man fight. He'll pop his battery assault, but the creeps are tanking it. Xiao 8 throws out the torrent, narrowly dodged, but off the bat, advantage Kunkka here. Tons of damage. CTY forced to pop his salve. And Xiao 8's still sitting pretty as far as his regen goes. Bottom lane, it's Yao creep skipping, so it'll probably be a fairly boring lane here.
Yeah. I mean, ZSMJ is doing sort of a nice thing where he goes and pressures the Darkseer, so the Darkseer can't just kill the wave right away and then dive ZSMJ at the tower. You don't miss any CS as Garo doing this, but it makes life harder for the Darkseer. So that's pretty good by him.
He'll pop his salve now. He's fairly low in terms of mana, but he'll see what he can do.
Did the Darkseer salve get cancelled, or?
He just used one, so he must have cancelled it.
I think he got cancelled by the last range creep attack. So that's actually really bad for Darkseer.
I mean, he'll have a... I guess he'll just have his Soul Ring here, or maybe he'll even
be forced to go bottle now. I think bottle's better anyway, just because Soul Ring, I feel like your HP is not high enough. Like, with bottle, you can sort of gank the other lanes. You can get that bot rune if your mid sort of doesn't have enough rune control.
You're also up against CTY's Clockwork, and he's just been doing work. He'll head top now, looking for a rune. It's a haste rune. He's actually going to walk back, then he'll go back in, maybe hoping to bait
the
Xiao 8 into an unfavorable engagement.
Like haste runes and DD runes, you sort of just have to go for them.
Yeah.
They're so
even
like,
if you miss 3 creeps.
Yeah, they're so game swing. Like if it was even regen sort of for lane, but
this could be bad for Yao. He does have Surge, but well, he'll have the missile on him now. In comes the Rocket Barrage. Yao could be in trouble. This is Surge is only level, well, it is level 2, but he'll keep on running. Oh, the missile's going to come in. Will ZSMJ die for this? I think Yao should be okay. Rocket Barrage is here. It's going to be close. He tries to juke around the trees. Can't fog ZSMJ. He'll barely live. He's bottling up through it, but in comes a hasted Clockwork mid lane, looking for your first blood on Xiao 8. Can't find it yet. He's got the cogs. He might go back in. Xiao 8, no turret mana for him. Looking for a cleave. CTY out for first blood. He's thinking about it. You know he wants to dive. He won't go. He could have even picked up a first blood bottom, but was already going on Xiao 8 by the time that happened.
I would have preferred that he just had gone for a Darkseer, but sometimes if you can just solo kill mid, you win the game off that. You just snowball and win the game. So, and honestly, like, it sort of would have been hard to call. I actually thought the Darkseer was going to die there, but I didn't see him get his bottle at all.
Yeah, he had his bottle right in the beginning of that, and Yao, he saved all his charges pretty much until he surged away the second time. Yeah, ZSMJ, I mean, you do see the power of even just one level in homing missile, normally thought of as a fairly useless ability. It zones him out, forces him back, and almost found him a kill there.
Something that's sort of a bit of a weird about is if you put 2 or 3 points into homing missile early, you can just sort of keep doing
he's going in again on Yao. Yao's going to surge away. He'll be okay. Making me nervous here. Sorry, you were saying.
Oh, no, you can put like 2 or 3 points in a homing rocket, and what ZSMJ did where he was pressuring the Darkseer, you just put a homing missile after him. You can't really tank it at face for 50 damage because you'll just rocket barrage him.
Right. So he runs and then he takes max damage. Yeah,
and it actually does pretty sick damage. Like 110 per level is very high for a nuke.
It's been a pretty, well, not passive game, but it's been a lot of trades. Up mid lane, going in now. CTY, he pops his level 3 battery assault. He's caught Xiao 8 in the cogs. He bottles up. He's got a torrent. Can he get it off? He can't cast it. He'll go for it now. He might actually connect here. CTY jukes away. And the rune spawns bottom. Snapped up by Yao, which means for CTY, we'll see the Bottle Crow, and he might go back in. No, not going to.
The Kunkka actually started with 3 sets of regen, which is sort of cool against the Clockwork, but he's actually sort of getting dominated right now.
Going for a courier snipe now. Can he get it? No, he won't. And also his gank revealed too, so kind of a minor victory there for LGD. So the two dual lanes, I mean, we take a look at those and Vici Gaming, Gyrocopter handily winning his lane, and then mid lane, well, actually not even, excuse me, the farm heavily favoring CTY. So even look at the tri lane, Alx winning there. Vici Gaming basically winning all 3 lanes. And almost had first blood multiple times.
I mean, the thing that VG is doing that's sort of cool is they're giving, like I said, Shadow Demon, I thought he should get level 2. Maybe that was wrong because Shadow Demon does a lot better without levels than Visage does. Visage is actually quite a level dependent support. So sure, giving the Shadow Demon level 2 sort of gives you that early kill potential.
Yeah.
But giving Visage the levels gives you that mid game potential.
Oh, look at this rotation by FY. He's actually got a smoke and head all the way bottom. This could be our first blood. If he gets a range for disruption,
like
this is going to be it. Yao's called out. Rocket Barrage comes through, but it's not actually hitting anything. There's the call out. Surge cooling down. Won't matter. Great rotation from FY.
That's a huge kill for the Gyrocopter. And I think like bot lane going a bit poorly for LGD, so it just comes down to the fact that the Darkseer, I really like pulling the creeps to neutral camp, which he started doing, but I feel like he could do a bit earlier and mid.
Yeah, mid lane. There's your Torrent. Xiaowei trying to man up, but in comes our Shadow Demon. He could turn the tides here. Battery Assault and the hook. CTY slams it in. Very confident hook there in the middle of a lot of traffic.
That was a very nice play. This Shadow Demon just did work.
He just won them 2 lanes.
They
were already winning.
Yeah.
Now they're completely won.
He walked bottom, got a kill. Walk mid, got a kill. He'll probably walk top, get a kill.
Well, maybe Fenrir is the one who's going to go down here. He's caught in a bad spot. XTT looks for the 2-hero stun. Fenrir dodges the Illuminate, but he will still go down in the end. As for middle lane, looks like CTY rotating bottom. He doesn't have hook. It's cooling down. And this could be Yao dying again. Missile might be there. Yao, is he going to surge away? He's got to be suspicious. CTY comes in. Surprise! Catches him in the cog. The missile's going to come in. Another kill. Vici Gaming, 3 movements, 3 kills.
Yeah, these VG movements are just very good. But at top, they managed to pick off the Shadow Demon, so he went top and got a kill.
Still, you look at who's dying for LGD, it's solo heroes, and that's why we see Vici Gaming, especially the farm lead, up by 1750 gold, 1500 experience.
I really expect this Gyrocopter to just dominate this game. When you're off to this good a start, he basically has full CS, and then he has AoE gold from a solo kill, which is very high.
He might find another kill here mid. He dodged away from the Torrent. Xiaowei will deploy the Coco Rum to try and get out. Can he escape? Hook was actually used, wasn't enough. Didn't hear the effect there, but well, now back to top lane. Looks like just fighting over some neutral.
And that's sort of where Caudle reigns supreme, though. You can't really contest that.
Unless he runs in too close. Could get body blocked here. FY looking for the surround. Grave Chill's there. In comes the Soul Catcher. CTY, again, he shows up to the fights. But FY, he's the one setting up. Has he been involved in every single kill? Well, there was that one kill mid. But aside from that, pretty much every single. Or bottom. But aside from that, every other kill, he's been a part of it.
The Clockwork?
No, the Shadow Demon.
Oh, Shadow Demon.
Yeah, there's just the one kill bottom where he wasn't there.
Both Clockwork and Shadow. Oh, mid.
Up towards mid lane, they'll go in again. CTY finds another kill on Xiaowei. Didn't even have a hook for it. He might go down here. He's used his wand. He'll live with 30 HP. He goes into the Roshan. Is he going to suicide? Is he going to TP out? He's just lurking here. Maybe even going to try to bait and turn it around. He'll actually deny himself now. He waits for the Illuminate. DD just threw it out there, didn't channel it. He suicides the Rosh. Did he spend his gold? He did. He bought Blades of Attack. It looks like he couldn't afford the phase boots.
That was very smart. He checked how much unreliable gold he had, and he spent it right before he died. So he didn't lose any gold from that death, and this is suicide. I think
pretty patient there.
I still haven't confirmed it. When I was casting with Toby once, and Milk said that you don't get AoE gold from neutrals, but he wasn't sure. So
I'm actually not sure. Maybe
right,
it's
for neutral kills. I can't recall which one it is.
Oh, you mean if you die to creeps?
Yeah, if you die to creeps, you might get AoE gold. Because I remember like gold numbers popping up in one of my games, and I was sort of surprised by it. But it might have just been like something else that I didn't know.
It may also be one of those things that's different between Dota 1 and Dota 2. I know there's some differences there, but not sure if it's specifically for that stat. Yao, well, he's got to be careful. He's farming the enemy jungle. He's worried about these ganks from CTY, as well he should be, because CTY's on the prowl again.
I mean, the rotations have been very good from VG, but the one thing is that
FY in a bit of trouble. He'll try to get out of here. Torrent will be dodged. He jukes away. Beautiful little play, but now he's going to eat a Lucent Beam and Impale and a boat to the face. Dodged it, didn't matter. Now CTY trying to man fight his way out against Yao. He's got a hook. There's a gyro here. Looks like they're worried about a TP rotation because he's not contesting this. Could easily go for a kill with the two of them. ZSMJ, maybe he's thinking after this creep wave I'll go. Oh, Yao has an Invisor, and so never mind that.
CTY was very smart there. No, I think a lot of Clockworks wouldn't have clicked the Darkster so quickly, but
Yeah.
he saw that as an invis, that, oh, this is just a waste of mana, so I'm gonna back out. He can even Iron Shell and just chase him, and the Iron Shell during the invis will do a ton of damage that he didn't want to do.
Yeah, it's really fun if you're playing with a bounty hunter in your team in a pub. Just put Ion Shell on him and go to work.
I'm sort of curious about the phase boost on Clockwork. I don't really see it very much anymore.
CTY loves this build.
Does he? Okay.
I guess it's more just so you can find solo kills around the map.
It's really good for solo killing and just movement in general. Like, phase boots is very good at farming, even though like Treads is more DPS for neutral. Like phase boots, you just get from lane to lane.
You're better at last hitting. Yeah, he'll barely escape from the call down here, but TSMJ, no big deal for him. He'll just go back to the creep wave. So we've settled into a more passive state, and by the way, there is an Alchemist in this game. We've hardly talked about XTT. He's gone for kind of a utility build, 1 point in Greevil's Greed, 9 kills, 10.5 minutes in, but you go late game. How do you feel about these teams' chances? How do they stack up against each other?
I actually think top lane, even though Alchemist has pretty good CS, he just got passed by Luna, but before that he was quite far ahead. Top lane's looking very good for LGD. When you aggressive tri-lane like that, you sort of need to make kills happen. I mean, Vici takes for the Shadow Demon, which sort of made up for that. Like, Shadow Demon is almost level 6. He has the same EXP as Alchemist, basically.
And he's barely been in a lane this entire game.
So the Shadow Demon is just playing really well, but
oh no.
Sylar is level 7.
CTY, he's going to find DD in the river. The entire enemy team is here. There is Eclipse. Will they use it? CTY still alive. They're going to let him die. He was worried about getting fogged with the cogs there, and he'll back off. Didn't pop the Eclipse. Maybe could have gotten the kill, but decides it's not worth the risk.
Yeah. I felt like he may have, but it was like a 40% chance at best based on CTY's reaction.
Bottom lane, there's no resistance here. They're going to go in again on Yao. He'll blow up, and they look to get out. Torrent, short, not going to connect on ZSMJ. Lucent Beam gets fogged. Vici Gaming, no mercy from these guys. Yeah. Constant aggression everywhere.
They force rotations from the farmer and the solo mid. That's actually more important than the kill, I think.
Yeah, Sylar, he'll have to hoof it all the way back top. He'll miss at least 3 or 4 waves in XTT. There's your Shadow Amulet. They didn't even really try lane top. Like you said, Shadow Demon was everywhere, so call it a dual lane, and he's out farming the Luna by 400 gold. No towers to either team's name, so just purely, you look at CS, he's actually ahead by 2. Only 1 point in Greevil's Greed, so everywhere you look, Vici Gaming coming out heavily ahead. It's game 1 of the best of 3. Winner of the series. They punch their ticket to Seattle, either as a wild card or as one of your main entrants. We'll find out who that's going to be, not tomorrow, but the following day. But for now, things looking pretty damn good for Vici Gaming in game 1.
Yeah. And Vici actually has a very good late game between the Gyrocopter and the Alchemist. Like, Clockwork gives you that. It's sort of hard to push against him as well.
Poke in mid onto DD. Does this guy ever stop CTY? This time he may have overextended. Actually gets pushed out by the blinding light. Out of the cogs. He's hasted. He's going in for the kill. He'll find it with the battery assault. He looks to get out now. There is an X, however. He might go down. He's bottling up. Can he live? He cannot. Down he'll fall. While this was happening, looks like our Alchemist did die top. So, well, slowing down the Shadow Blade. 2 for 1 there. LGD getting some much needed kills.
And Luna blew ulti for that one. So
they got kills, but they were expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of smart by Salem not to blow the ulti on Clockwork over here, if we remember that, because he sort of knows that if he uses it smart, he can get a guaranteed kill.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a guaranteed kill, and sort of the first Luna, it's 1200 damage on a single target if you can hit them with all 4 beams. It's pretty ridiculous early, actually.
Yeah, it can completely turn the tides of a game, and, well, it's got a really long cooldown, 3 minutes. Yeah. So something you want to make sure you get right. Oh, sorry, excuse me, 160. So,
well, close,
2 minutes and 40 seconds. Well, I don't want to spare any misinformation here, AUI, so. Anyway, we'll see a Cloak picked up on CTY, just getting these cheap, cost-effective items. He loves his Aghanim Scepter. I think every single time I've cast him, he rushes it.
Yeah. And Eggs it's just a great item, to be honest. He doesn't really need a Ghost Scepter against our team. BKB would be nice, but actually, I would like to see a BKB on him this game, to be honest.
Yeah, LGD, no way to deal with that. Oh, there's physical damage, but there's no actual lockdown for CTY.
It just feels like if he hooks in with an Egg Scepter, like your hook, even though 12 seconds is short, it's not like instant.
They're on the hunt for CTY. They do have Vendetta for DDC to lead the way. There's no sentries here, but it's also a Clockwork with a Cloak. He is very hard to bring down.
He's really tanky.
And if you tower dive him, well, I would like to see ZSMJ with a TP scroll. He doesn't have it. Well, he's got some backup. It looks like they want to force the fight bottom. They'll rotate CTY in. Dire Structures are fortified, and Vici Gaming really controlling the tempo of this game. They rotate 4 bottom. That's going to give some space to XTT top, and there's your Torrent. Connects, but it's from the low ground. Tower's going to go down. The Familiars are going to get the kill, it looks like. So, Vici Gaming, they draw first blood in terms of kills. They now draw first blood in terms of towers, and they are looking in really good shape.
And CTY is rotating up top. I almost feel like we should just have our camera on him because everywhere he goes, he just makes stuff happen.
Yeah, he TP'd bottom. He was very patient there. Found the Darkseer, forced out the Invis Rune. And that was the time when he didn't get a kill. The other times, he's been finding kills. He's been forcing 3, 4 TPs, and he rarely misses a hook. Well, we've seen him miss a few, but he has one of the higher hook percentages that I've ever cast.
Yeah. And
I mean, up there with someone like Boba, who plays Clockwork almost every game, I feel.
Yeah. And Garo actually, he has a stack now. So not only is he pretty much completely free farm with 2 kills and solo assist mode, which solo AoE gold is basically almost a kill. It's like 70% of a kill. And then now he's getting jungle stacks. That Garo is going to be disgustingly farmed.
He's rushing a BKB. He's already got it. That's a 15.5 minute BKB, Reign of Aquila, Phase Boots, Magic Wand, ZSMJ. I said, where's the ZSMJ of Legend? I feel like he's been solid, but nothing spectacular. He's had some help, but by himself, he was crushing that offlane Darkseer. This is pretty damn spectacular.
And just look at the gold per minute or the net worth. He's 3,000 ahead of Luna.
And the next farmer is Alchemist, who's going to have a Shadow Blade soon. XTT just about has it. He just needs 50 gold. Then you have a Shadow Blade Alch. You already a Gyro with a BKB. Vici Gaming could 5-man. They can split push. They can take it late game. They're going to have a mech. Well, not anytime too soon, but eventually on Fenrir. They are in such good shape. And LGD, I don't feel their lineup really goes late as well. Maybe with a big vacuum wall, but not the best ability versus a hero like Gyrocopter. It's okay against Alchemist depending on what items he goes for, but it's not really a game where Darkseer Wall is going to be at maximum effect.
I mean, to be honest, both teams have just really good late game.
That's true.
They both have 2 cores with really good supporting heroes.
And I mean, I guess the difference is I look at some of LGD's carries like Luna, Kunkka. These heroes have a harder time dealing reliable damage in a fight. Gyro can just dish it out from long range.
I mean, I almost feel like Luna's just as good late game as Garo, just because glaives are pretty ridiculous, and the aura is actually good all game long.
And speaking of that aura, it is max.
Yeah, Luna's pretty absurd late game actually.
Here we go. It's going to be a big rotation for Vici Gaming. They're heading up towards this tier 1. They want to force a fight. If they take this game, they'll be 1 game away from a guaranteed trip to Seattle. Shao Wei lurking in the trees. DDC as well. They expect this rotation. They're going to start painting now. CTY is going to man up. He'll charge in. He ain't afraid. He'll hook in. Catches Shao Wei. Cogs him up. Now the battery assault. The boat comes in, keeping him alive for a long time. On the backside, it's a vacuum. It's a wall. BKB on ZSMJ. Not quite enough just yet. He's taking a lot of damage. He'll be forced back. XTT with his Shadow Blade, he's driven back as well. They trade a Kunkka for a Shadow Demon, but there's also a 10-second BKB charge. Vici Gaming being very far ahead, well, pretty far ahead. They actually slipped there a bit. Now only lead by about 2k gold, 1k experience. Still a very close game in spite of the fact that it's felt like Vici Gaming are calling all the shots. LGD, a team that's very resilient when they're behind, not giving up too much.
I felt like that fight actually went very well for LGD, even though they traded the solo mid for support.
I agree.
Just because the 10-second BKB is so important, and they got more farm on the map for longer, and VG wasted a smoke. VG had to all position themselves because they're going on offense. LGD had the defender's advantage. Kato was farming mid. Darkseer got to farm an extra small camp, and
also, Darkseer had mech, and that really turned the fight. CTY, he'll go into the river now. He gets X. He gets thrown up into a Vendetta stun, then torrented. But the early cloak is doing a lot to keep him alive. He'll drop low here, but with those phase boots, can he run away? No chance. Not against the hasted, very angry Director 8. So they find that kill, and, well, we'll see Vici Gaming. I think this is where you go back to farming and playing a little more defensively.
I actually expect them, like, I almost feel like when you're behind, if you just play defensive, then you're just gonna lose.
Well, they're not behind right now. They lead by 2k gold, even in terms of experience.
Even in terms of like momentum, though, I like to see like you sort of want to force a momentum swing, but we'll see what they do. I mean, sitting back just for a little bit to farm one big item on the Alk, like one more, because Shadow Blade is good, but you're still really squishy.
Yeah, you're squishy, and I mean, you can't really do that much in a fight besides just Shadow Blade in after you start charging your stun and go, and he'll do that now. Nope, no mana for Shadow Blade, so he'll just lob it at Sylar, who, speaking of which, should have his BKB coming soon. Nope, not yet. He's still about 800 gold off.
Oh, one thing I want to mention about that fight was that, oh, never mind. Darkseer, I think he could have gotten off an Aisha, killed a Visage, but he chose to save mana for mech, which is the safe choice. But he had a Soul Ring up.
That's the other thing that Vici Gaming don't have. They don't have a mech. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's another reason where you should be very hesitant about taking a fight.
I mean,
Because it makes such a huge
mech
difference this early.
mech is huge. It's basically a hero. That item.
Especially in this game, because Vici Gaming, so much spread damage, like things
Yeah.
like Rocket, Acid Spray, Clockwork, Flat Cannon. If you had, say, a Lina with a Laguna Blade, I mean, sure, you've got Visage, but a bunch of single target heroes, maybe the mech doesn't matter as much, because you can just blow someone up instantly, but it's a lot of spread damage from Vici Gaming. That's where mech can really be king.
Like, for as much sort of bursts as both teams have, like Coddle Blast, Nyx, Luna, you can sort of expect all 5 heroes to take 250 damage before everyone dies, and that's when mech is at its strongest.
The Visage familiars are going to do a little bit of high ground scouting. Now they'll place an Observer Ward. DDC, he's got Vendetta, he's got the Dust. There shouldn't be any surprises from Alk. XTT a bit low on mana. Does Vici Gaming really want to commit to this push? Bottom lane's pushing in. They've got this early BKB on ZSMJ, and I guess they just feel like that's enough to force a fight for LGD. We saw their power to defend a tower earlier, even middle lane pushing in, so they'll back off, and this is where LGD, maybe they try and find a pick. Looks like they'll be too late.
I think this is the smart choice. There's a lot of farm, mid and top, and you don't want that going onto your towers.
So ZSMJ, he rushes the BKB. Now he's going to go back for Helm of the Dominator. He has 154 CS, by far your farm leader, and he's been very active. This is not your Medusa ZSMJ from of old. You know, he's involved in the fights. He's coming to them. I would like to see him dominate a creep and start stacking Ancients, but I imagine he'll do that soon.
Yeah, for sure. Dominate a creep, it's just helpful. And sometimes I even like it when people dominate a creep and they just take it to fights with them. Like Trollnet is, it's like your Chen. Or
especially
like
versus Luna with a BKB. She pops Eclipse, you net her. Maybe she doesn't get to chase anybody down.
And the thing is, so a lot of the times it's just so unexpected.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, why am I not moving in fights? Because you don't see it.
Yeah,
Or
it's
like,
it has a very minimalist animation. Like, you barely notice it.
even if you get the net off on the Nyx while he's Vendetta, he might like not stun because he's like, oh, I want to hit my Vendetta. I want to hit my Vendetta.
Yeah, suddenly, Clockwork Hook, Alchemist Stun, boom, you're dead. So he does dominate a creep. He'll start stacking Ancients for both teams. That's one resource we haven't really seen them use is the Ancient stacks because they've been so active and aggressive around the map. Mostly Vici Gaming setting the pace and LGD reacting to it, but if it's going to be a more passive game, and this is something I know your team really prioritizes, as we saw the Alliance does as well, stacking Ancients is an important resource on the map.
Yeah, it really is.
And both teams have such good lineups for farming them.
Yeah, they do. CTY is actually going for a pipe, which I think if
No Aghanims for him.
I think if I think about it, like that's better than the BKB, just because LGD, if you're not hitting spells on the Clockwork, they're gonna hit on the other heroes. It's not like Luna out; it just hits the BKB and it doesn't do damage. So that's actually a really smart.
It'll just blow up your supports faster.
Yeah. And you sort of need a pipe against like a Bolt, Torrent, Nyx, Stun, Coddle, or actually all the heroes really.
Vacuum, Wall,
and especially
Shell,
Luna. Like
it's a
Luna
lot.
is so much damage.
And Vici Gaming, they'll be looking to actually stack some Ancients, but Xiao 8 being a total nuisance here with his Illusion Rune, he'll deny that. So we know the Ancients are an important resource, LGD does too, and they're not going to give anything easy away to Vici Gaming.
I'm actually surprised that neither team has an Ancient stack at all, but the game has been very
aggressive
action packed.
I mean, FY, he wasn't stacking Ancients, and then you look at what he was doing. Constantly ganking. Top lane, Visage was needed there because otherwise you're just leaving Alk to the Wolves, 1v3. And for LGD, they were having a hard time dealing with the tri-lane. And Nyx and Kodal, well, they need a lot of levels in lane. If they're stacking Ancients, they're falling behind. So
and it's a 1v1 bottom. That sort of means that there's not really that much opportunity to stack on the Dire side.
Maybe Darkseer could have done it once if he thought he was getting ganked, but that's kind of nitpicking.
And I would have sort of liked they're pushing top here. I think they're going to get a free tower while they counter push mid. And that's, if they trade, it's sort of good for VG just because they have less push. But I think LGD will, they don't have Glyph, they might not be able to defend this.
They don't have Glyph, but they have the Ogre Club, which means, well, Xiao 8's feeling manly. Yeah, I'm just kidding, that's not going to do much for him. He'll have his BKB soon, though. I
would have liked Vathology sort of stack those Ancients with his birds at least once earlier.
Yeah.
Just because you have a
resummon. That's one thing they do have we didn't talk about.
Yeah. Just because they have a resummon, so if a fight happens and they're stacking Ancients, you can always resummon. I mean, it's nice to have resummon a fight, but it's not I don't know. It's very rare that you're gonna get 4 stuns off.
There's just so many different ways you can use the birds. They're gonna head in mid lane. They actually split up here during the smoke gank. DDC, he'll scout things out. He gets caught by a hook by CTY, pushed out of the cog. Will DDC make it away? The spike carapace might be just enough. He's purged. I think he popped his own dust there, and he will go down. Now a call down, actually. They're not done yet. Sylar scouted out by the familiar, slowing him down. That call down does go through BKB with the slow. They disrupt one. XTT charging up a stun. Prepare for pain, but he actually forced that himself away, it looks like. Yao might live through it all. Cogged up, brought down fast. That's 2 that hit the deck. And ZSMJ, he wants more, but I think maybe he should just be happy with what he's gotten. He'll back off. Xiaowei looking for a torrent. Not going to commit to that. 5-3. Well, how did they actually see the Nyx there?
There's a sentry down the middle.
Oh, he just had the...
He actually went out of the sentry range, and Qualifier just hit a perfect hook on him.
I was gonna say I checked, I didn't see a gem and was a little confused, but he predicted his movement.
Yeah, the Nyx was in. He was invisible when the Clockwork hit him with the hook.
Yeah.
So that was just a nice play by him.
CTY. What more is there to say about this guy?
No, he's really good.
God's with his very creative. What a player. He's selling t-shirts. And while this was happening, ZSMJ kept on farming. Now up to 12.3k net worth. XTT, he's up to 3.7k. We take another look at the gold graph, and it's starting to feel like this game might be slipping away from LGD, because the 2 heroes they're getting the most farm are both carries for Vici Gaming, and their supports are far behind. Visage, Shadow Demon, though, these are heroes that can do a lot with minimal items, minimal farm.
And they have the mech on Visage now. Yeah,
so even though he's not that farmed, he's gone straight for a high impact item, and you compare that to LGD, a Nyx Assassin with up against constant sentry wards, how much can he actually do? Kodal, obviously good at stalling pushes, but not really a great combat hero. I just feel like for Vici Gaming, the items that they're getting on their carries are just going to do so much more in these upcoming fights. And soon ZSMJ, well, could be an MKB. I imagine that will be the choice, but whatever he wants, he'll have that next damage item fairly soon.
Yeah, and Kodal actually picks up a gem, which I like, because... Actually, I just like gems during the mid game because they give you a lot of map control. It makes it very hard to ward, and if you can live with a gem the entire game, it's actually huge. You save so much money on sentries.
You absolutely do, and you're up against an alchemist with a shadow blade, so you really need it just to see him coming. Otherwise, he jumps one of you, you just die. Yeah. And now we'll see a pipe of insight on CTY. So with a pipe and a mech and a BKB on the gyro, their ability to just take an aggressive fight and come out on top is pretty enormous. Yeah, LGD and they have that amazing combo. Vacuum into Torrent, into Boat, into Eclipse, Impale, Illuminate. If they can hit it all, I think they can still bust through the pipe and the mech and win, but if they hit half of their spells, a third of their spells, I'm not so sure about that.
For sure, and I think that Nyx Spike Carapace is going to be very important in the fight. If you can hit a 3-man Spike Carapace into a good stun, it's just going to set up the Torrent Bolt combo into Wall Vacuum very easily.
Could be our X Factor. Visage familiar, scouting things out from the high ground. They do have a slight vision range. They're not in vision of the Nyx yet, but, well, Vici Gaming, they're content to just kind of slowly push this out. Sylar, he's picked up his BKB a while ago. He does have a Yasha now. The familiars might actually die. Micro your bird.
Oh, no.
There's your pipe. They're going to go again.
Oh. The bird's coming in for a stun.
Oh. Is it actually going to be enough? Looks like they'll just drive them back. There is a torrent here. Already the glyph was used, though. I think LGD, they just fighting into pipe, mech, and BKB gyro, that's just not a winning recipe.
Yeah, it's not. And while ZSMJ got a really good start, like Sylar's been playing really well in the fact that he simply hasn't died. Like, he's against a Shadow Blade Alchemist and a Hook Clockwork, and it's actually pretty hard to not die against that without, like, some... I don't know. I don't know. I never seen Sylar get picked off. So
he's a pretty defensive player. I mean, we even saw when he's up against that aggressive ganking orange jungle play, where he was just body juking the bear, body blocking like a boss, and actually sorry, I think that was Team Liquid, but yeah, same story there, where he anticipated those ganks perfectly. His position was just a bit better, and for Vici Gaming, they continue to farm the small things from LGD, helping to slow down that farm rate. Things like warding off the Ancient Camp, Xiaowei earlier with an Illusion Rune trying to block it, but you still get the sense that if this goes on, Vici Gaming will just continue to pull ahead in terms of farm. They're leading. Their Gyrocopter has 240 CS and already an MKB complete on CSMJ, and it's by no means the fastest gyro farm we've ever seen, but he's been involved all game. He's 2-0-4. He's been pushing with his team. He's been stacking his own Ancients. CSMJ has been quite self-sufficient, and a lot of the other games I've cast of him, I felt like he's needed too much help and he hasn't had a big impact. He's really stepped up his game here.
Yeah, this is definitely a good game from him here. And I think the most important thing was that he won his solo lane. And that's just turned into this very good lead for VG, because I feel like Darkseer, if he had, like, he has to go for a BKB, he's 1-4, he's not really having a good game.
Right.
I think Gods is crying right now.
He's crying, he's napping. Sleepy God.
Because Yao isn't having the best game.
We'll make a God's bingo sheet tomorrow, guys, don't worry. But for now, you'll have to make do with the Lumi one. DSMJ continue to push in the bottom lane, continue to find farm. They will go on mid. They impale XTT. He could be in trouble. The boat comes in. The familiars are here. They want to take this fight under the wall, under the AoE of LGD. Can they do it? XTT actually lives through all. I cannot believe it, but the pipe was there. It was enough. Now ZSMJ comes in. Look at the MKB damage. Triple kill for him. Call it an ultra if he finds one more. He will. ZSMJ is back, baby, and it might just be a rampage. Sylar, well, maybe he gets away here. He does have the Yasha. The Rocket's giving chase. There's no hook, but there's a haste on CTY. Are they going to go all the way for this kill? There might be a buyback. How far will CTY chase? You know he wanted to secure that rampage for CSMJ, but in the end, he will back off. Well, they blew everything on the Alchemist. Eventually, they kill him. But there's a one-position gyro who's been free farming all game. You just can't devote that much to the Alch.
The Visage Familiars actually blocked the hook there, so I thought that was going to go quite well.
I didn't even catch
for
that.
LGD, but Sylar sort of had a rare misfire on his ultimate, and I think, well,
it's a hard game even if you hit your ult.
Yeah, I think
there's the pipe and the mech and the BKB on gyro.
yeah, the pipe really did work. I think they would have at least been able to blow up the Alchemist, and then they would have gone out a bit earlier.
Yeah.
But I still see that sort of going like 2-1, 3-1 for VG. That was just a really nice rotation by them. ZSMJ, he got there at the perfect time, which is very important because instead of just running there right away, he sort of maximized his farming time, and then he was able to get to the fight.
And when he showed up, it was after all the big stuns and AoE had been used, so he could just go to work. They'll smoke up right after Roche. They're going to head directly towards LGD's jungle. Oh, Vici Gaming, you devilish bastards. This could be the start of a Game 1 victory. They're already leading by a decent amount. They're going to wrap around top. LGD, they don't get caught often. Will they get caught now? Doesn't look like it.
I mean, the one thing that's going well for LGD is that Darkseer actually finished his BKB, and there's nothing that really stops it. I mean, Clockwork Hook stuns him, but you're not stopping it because you can't burst him down during BKB.
Well, problem is, we're going to see a Satanic, I believe, right now. Yep, Satanic Recipe on the Courier. I don't know what you do against this. ZSMJ has basically 3 lives in this fight.
He's absurdly farmed right now, to be honest. And
one of the best heroes to just break the base against a Darkseer.
Yeah,
Because he drops the wall, he vacuums you in, you just kill everything with the flat cannon. The illusions aren't really going to be a big factor, I feel. And, well, it is off cooldown now. BKB's up, but DSMJ can also just punish that. Plus, you flat cannon away, and there's your disruption. Are they going to commit to Shao 8? I think you're much better off just sieging. And, yeah, Vici Gaming. You just pop the flat cannon, Kurt, and how does LGD even get near the tower? They take so much damage.
yeah, it's definitely good and hard. And that MKB is really smart pickup just because he's being so
Go in now. There's your
Oh,
Pella.
big
Huge vacuum.
combo.
Maybe it's enough. Wall as well. ZSMJ will drop. He does have Aegis. He comes back with Satanic too, but he comes back perhaps without a team. He's in the middle of this fight. He'll try to man up. Hasn't used the Satanic yet. Just wants to get out of here. Gets stunned by the Spike Carapace. Then the Impale. Torrent's not going to connect. Lucent Beam as well. Will he ever stop getting stunned? CTY says, man up, my friend. Man up. I've got this, but in the end, they're going to be forced back. LGD. The AoE combo we talked about, that's what they needed. That's what the doctor ordered. They surge in Shao 8. They're hunting for additional kills. Who will they go on? Well, Fenrir is going to fall. The obvious easy kill. Now they're going to pull CTY back in. He's deployed his cogs, pushing everybody away. He may get out. He gets vacuumed on the other side of the cogs. Then the Centaur stomps him for good measure. LGD, a pristine defense. One of the hardest teams in the world to break the base against. They show it there. Down by 10k gold, down by 5k experience, down by an Aegis, to arguably a better late game lineup, certainly an equally good one. They hold on. Are they back in it yet? That's the question.
Well, that fight was definitely the start that they wanted. The only problem was that Garo didn't die at all.
He did lose his Aegis.
He did lose his... Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. He did die. He lost his Aegis, but he didn't die and lose gold or any farm time.
Yeah. And
so,
he looks like he recovered the gem from DD as well.
Yeah, and, you know, they hit a 4-man vacuum into Torrent Bolt inside the cogs. Like, C2I had a sort of a rare misplace cogged his team in.
That's like not 1 in a million, but very rare.
And then they got a full Luna, and I feel like VG could have disengaged after that and only lost 1. They sort of hung around for a tiny bit because
I think they were banking too much on the ZSMJ Aegis. Like, they thought he'll come back, we can just win the fight.
Well, what happened is they turned around, C2I used his Satanic, and then he didn't get any hits off. So he was still at 500 HP. And they were counting on that Satanic to bring him to full. Because if he got the full Satanic on, he could actually turn around and
They're
do
going
some
in
work.
now on Xiaowei. He'll have to BKB to dodge the stun. He will. Still takes the damage, though. And Vici Gaming? Well, there's no BKB on Kunkka. Darkseer combo is up. Do they have to wait for the next Roche? Can they go high ground if they just play it better? I mean, because they did kind of group up there a bit. And I feel like you just want to sit more behind the gyro in these fights? And then counter-initiate? You can even disrupt him if he gets in trouble.
I don't think they predicted that combo would come out.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, who could?
It looked very good for VG, for the guy just to sit up there and whack on the tower, and if anyone could closely just flat cannons. Because when you have, like, Satanic Aegis, you're invincible. Or you should be.
You should be. And we'll see. The disruption is available. They'll start with a Spike Carapace. They back into ZSMJ, back into a lot of damage. He says, screw it. I'm going in. Send me in, team. He'll go on Yao. Yao is low. He drops the wall, but he's still alive for the time being. Finally, he'll get purged. He will go down. He's deployed the wall as well, so they're a bit lacking on team fight right now. Boat was used too. Vici Gaming feels like they just don't have the horses to take this fight. Man, English, a very hard language at this hour. LGD. They have no wall, so they even have a buyback on the Darkseer. No buyback there. Well, it gets a bit easier from here to crush through the base, take the Rex. Kuras has been up on XTT, it looks like. There's your Torrent. Impale, not going to connect. That's a lot of stuns down the drain, and that's go time for LGD. They'll stun Xiaowei. He'll fall to the flat cannon. It's too much from ZSMJ. Too tanky with the flat cannon, with the Satanic, the BKB, just chipping away at this tower. Acid spray as well, zoning everybody back. Sylar gets stunned, well, his illusions do, and then just blown up. Now Alchemist, man mode in the front lines. Chop, slap, and they bring it down. They'll get the tower. Now they go for Rex. Gem hits the deck. Don't think anyone cares about that. Vici Gaming, they may be only moments away from a Game 1 victory. That's one lane of Rex. And AUI, I think they just turned 2 here.
Yeah, that was actually a sort of a rare miscommunication by LGD too. The Darkseer turned around to cast wall. He turned towards the VG team.
Oh, they're going to go in again. Looks like. Oh, maybe not. Oh, they're going to go in. Impale on Fenrir. That's a 2-hero hook and a cogs. And ZSMJ says, thank you, sir. I'll take that gold now. Catches them both. Brings them down fast. Beyond godlike. 10, 0, and 6. The legend of ZSMJ. We thought maybe this was a carry. Lost to the sands of time. But he's back in force. And so are Vici Gaming. They take game 1. They've defeated LGD before. They did it in the Dota 2 Super League. Can they do it here? Well, they're off to a good start.
Yeah, that was definitely really well played. I think CTY definitely did a lot of work. See, I really like his item progression. And there's outgoing ham on the model.
Very ham. And Lumi is feeling ham right now. He's smiling. He's actually not smiling.
He looks so happy.
Lumi and Gods, when they get tired, they just turn like ultra cranky.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, for now. We'll see a Torrent as well as an X. A-Tree, feel free to give the teams the GG. Otherwise, the stream chat's going to flame you. They're probably doing it now. But AUI, let's talk a little bit more about this game. Vici Gaming, was this just a case of them outplaying LGD? Do you think it came out of the draft at all, the lanes, or was it just better execution?
Honestly, I felt that both drafts were quite good. LGD did really well top, but man, those rotations were just disgustingly good from VG.
What was it, 4 for 4 on their first 4 ganks?
Yeah, the Shadow Demon, he actually just ran to lanes, and then kills happened. And then Clockwork ran to lanes, and kills happened. And when that happens, and your guy will just get so far ahead with solo EXP,
Yeah.
and their Luna sort of gets crippled because you're sort of trialing against her for the first bit, sort of dueling against her after that. Like, she doesn't have free farm.
Yeah.
Then you're just going to come out on top. And ZSMJ, he really displayed some nice farming, some good movement. It's not like he, like, just raced.
He didn't AFK. He was very active.
And LGD wins because
he had great setup. I mean, obviously, Shadow Demon got him off to a fast start. We saw some great rotations from FY. We saw some fantastic ganks from CTY. So it was by no means a one-man show, but ZSMJ, he was winning his lane 1v1 anyway. That was just icing on the cake that he got those ganks.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate for Yao that his salve just got broken. I'm actually not sure how that happened. Maybe he thought like the Iron Shell tick was going to kill it. I want to be like super precise with my salve, and it just was unfortunate.
And because he lost the salve, he ends up low on HP, easier to gank, gives up that early kill. That turns things around. So Vici Gaming, they'll take game 1. Of course, guys, it is a best of 3. It's been a long night. We're going to just throw it over to the analyst desk. Guys, what do you think?
Well, surprising with yourself, game 1. Vici Gaming take down the on paper favorites. It's not the first time they've done it. They did 2 of them last time, but They got off to a great start, and as usual, it's C2I's Clockwork just roaming around the map, setting up too many kills.
Yeah, I mean, he was so effective with the hooks in the mid lane. Shadow Demon did a ton of work rotating throughout as well. I think it was LD that pointed out that he just won basically 2 of the more important lanes. I mean,
Yeah.
the tri lane's good to win, but he's basically left that lane and they traded very evenly there already, and just by kind of conquering mid and bot.
Gave Gyrocopter more space to farm, do his thing, and I mean, ZSMJ, if he gets space to farm, he will. He's been a player who we as casters and many other people say haven't been incredibly impressed by. He hasn't been making the huge individual plays like a player like... You look at Sylar, even in a game like that,